Looks like we are live.
Oh, hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm a little bit of a cough monger at the moment.
She's got the 100-day cough going around.
It seems like 100 days, actually.
Knock on wood, I have not got it. So this morning, we are absolutely thrilled to have a good, I won't say old friend, because he can't possibly be old, because we're all 23 forever.
Well, it's his birthday on Thursday.
Friday.
Okay.
But Martin and Angie's got a bunch of bloody Irish rugby players coming to stay this week, thank God. So Martin and I get a couple of days off from trying to keep up drinking with her. And though we've got some friends from Dublin in town. So Martin and I are going to take off to Springboard, which we will tell you all about here shortly. And so Barry Coffing is a music industry expert, an Emmy-nominated songwriter, a performer, a producer, a mentor and inventor of musicsupervisor.com, We Get Music, and Springboard Festivals.
And he was Ruth McCartney's musical director
in Russia.
Armenia,
no less. All right. So the crowd goes wild. Please, one and all, give a big, loud welcome to Mr. Barry Coffing. Yay. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Barry. Good morning.
Hey, look, my hand's very blurry. How much have you been drinking, Ange?
Not enough yet.
If my hand was in focus, too much.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Everything's all good, and we can't wait to see you in person. This week. So I was trying to remember the other day, how long ago is it since we met?
I am thinking it is in the neighborhood of 37 years.
Oh my goodness, really?
Great.
Yeah, really.
Well, so we were two then.
Yeah, exactly. So in elementary school.
Yeah, that's right. Toddlers.
Back in kindergarten.
Toddlers and tipplers. Yeah.
And that was the time when you spent some time in LA, right? You came out here with, I think it was Bruce Atkinson.
No, I'd actually moved out there before, and it was because of Mark Chait, and we started drinking wine and writing songs.
That's right. Mark Chait,
became the Friday night booze club.
That's right, on yours and Megan's roof in West Hollywood.
Yeah, Kings Road, baby.
Yeah.
That's right. And then along came Chandler, and then Chandler's just had Nora James.
I know. Can you believe it?
How time flies.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. I know. So in those days, you were working up at Tyrell Mann Studios a lot, weren't you? Tell us about how did you meet Steve Tyrell, and how did all that get started?
Well, I grew up in Houston, Texas. I went to the high school for the performing and visual arts, and I started a band with some people from the school, and we kind of pretty much had done everything we could do there. I was singing jingles, I was producing bands, writing songs. And Steve Tyrell, who's originally from Houston, who was Barry Mann's partner, came back to Houston, and he started saying, hey, are there any cool songwriters, or who are the best bands, or who are cool producers? And my name came up under all three. He goes, well, I got to meet this MFer, So he, as Steve was wont to say. And so he invited me out to LA, and I had my little bag full of DAT tapes of things I'd done. And I walked in the middle of a pitch session for a film called Extremities with Farrah Fawcett and James Russo. It was based on a Broadway play. And he goes, hey, we got a guy driving, Steve, like, Barry, you got something? Here, this is Barry coming. He's one of our writers. Come on in here. And so I pull out my DAT. He plays it for him. Boom, we're in the movie. And I'm going like, I come out another trip, a month or two later. It's 8 Million Ways to Die, Oliver Stone's script with Andy Garcia's first film, Roseanne Arquette, put a song in that. I'm going, baby, we're leaving Houston.
We're moving.
Yeah, we're moving on up. So I got married, and the rest is history. Then I moved out there and started writing with you, and everything went downhill from there.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember us all meeting with you and Bruce Atkinson and others.
So about a year later, all my guys from my Houston band followed me out.
Yeah, Ed DeBevick's restaurant, wasn't it?
All those guys,
It was an old diner on La Cienega. We all met them for the first time at Ed DeBevick's.
Ed DeBevick's,
God, I love that.
No longer there. But yeah, we made some fun music together, and you had all your guys on my records. And Everett Harp, amazing sax player, and Osama Afifi, guitar, and just
it was Bruce Atkinson, I think.
Bass.
Yeah, and then Osama, he played on some other stuff because he's a bass player too. But the guitar, I can't remember who we had.
Oh, Michael Hakes.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, really?
The late great Michael Hakes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Mhm.
And then, of course, in the middle of all this, I marry my second husband, Dieter, and move to Munich, and through happenstance get invited to go to Russia. And of course, I needed somebody who can be a musical director and play the piano. So Barry arrives in the middle of October, the end of October, in Munich for an overnight stay before we fly through.
In a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, through East Berlin.
Lovely.
And I'm like, did you bring a heavy overcoat? And he's like,
I had left it at home and I couldn't turn around and get it. So I screwed up. Brought no coat going to Russia in the winter.
yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
That's my
But
guy.
we fixed you up with a nice coat, didn't we?
Yes.
Actually, it was a black woolen cloak of mine.
First of all, you had the cloak.
That's true.
That was in your-
I'm not going to tell anybody I was wearing Angie's outfits all
Yeah,
throughout.
your cross-dressing days. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about the cloak, but we won't let them in on the whole fishnets thing.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I won't mention.
You leave Nazim out of this, okay?
I hear from him quite often.
Yeah,
Mm.
crazy.
Cross-dressing KGB. You got to love it.
Yeah. And
Yes.
we were in Moscow and Yerevan, Armenia, and all kinds of fun stories. We should write a book. What do you think?
I don't think they believe it.
No, I don't think
No.
they would either. And I'm on stage one night. We took backing tapes, and Barry would play piano at certain things, and then I would sing to backing tapes. At one point, do you remember in Armenia this?
First off, they said we were supposed to play a club date that held 500, and then we had written a song called Russian Nights that they put on. Oh, they played it a few times on Russian TV. We didn't know, or at least I didn't know, that there were only 2 channels, and the cool channel played it where 100 million people,
over and over and over again.
heard the song. So they go, we moved to bigger venue. And we go there, and it is an 8,000-seater basketball arena that we have sold out for 8 nights.
And 3 matinees.
What the F? And it's us and Vladimir Kuzmin and all this whole bunch of Russian. It was like a who's who,
It's crazy.
Motown review kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we had these open reel tapes, and it was at 32 IPS because we wanted the good quality. They put it at 16 because they were always kind of low budge. So we'd score like this. And I am 3 stories down, and I am panicking. I am running up 3 stories. Wrong speed. And God bless her, man. She's like a complete pro, just acting like this is the whole intro. Thank God we had opened with a song with a long intro. So we got it up to the right speed before the first song.
Yeah, I just decided to do my choreography at halftime to make it look like I was supposed to be.
No one knew
Music.
Yeah, they had no idea. So I'm going.
Just absolutely crazy. It was crazy, but we made it. We made it in. We made it out, and the rubles helped a whole bunch of people after the Leninikan and Spitak earthquake.
Yeah. Well, there was that, and then there was what they paid us to. Remember, we threw it in the bed and rolled in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like they gave us so many rubles that were absolutely of almost no value.
Like a trash bag.
Trash bags, yeah.
Yeah, we'd had I had as much caviar and vodka as I could handle. Like,
right.
Except, like at a certain point, we both said we were alcoholics to stop them from getting us that drunk.
Yeah.
Like, we just said, no, we're alcoholic. They understood that. You're allowed to be an alcoholic. Other than that, you had wine with dinner, sparkling wine after, and then cognac toast, man.
And then champagne for breakfast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, no. Not me.
Yeah.
It was.
Howard.
Yeah. I couldn't. I had to stay on the porch. I couldn't run with the big dogs.
Crazy times, but fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then to pivot into the whole out of the music industry side, which is kind of what we're here to talk about, to pivot into, you first started, your first venture was musicsupervisor.com, wasn't it?
Yep, in 2005. Basically, I'd had a record deal on Warner Brothers in Asia. I had my own label with Sony. I had a couple of really bad publishing deals. I had to deal with Polygram that got gobbled up by somebody who got gobbled up by somebody. And so I'd done all that stuff, and I kind of moved. I'd written 200 songs for film and TV. I was an Emmy loser. I've been nominated, but I'd done a lot of good stuff, and I started doing music supervision. And I realized there were a bunch of programs to help me make music, but none to help me license it. Right. So my dad had a stroke, so I went back home, and and talked to some Texas oilmen, Jim Stanka, God bless you. And he said, I like movies. My wife likes movies. Will 50 grand get you started? Yes, sir, it will.
Oh, yes. I think so.
Bob.
Yeah, so I raised a bunch of angel money and built musicsupervisor.com. And since 2005, we've been representing artists like ourselves, independent artists for film and TV placement. It's super pro artist. It's non-exclusive. You can leave anytime. It costs no money. You go to We Get Artists. That's where we've moved that part of it. But
right.
yeah, you know, it's just really been a good thing. And we put hundreds of songs in movies.
It was basically pre-Google. It was the Google for the industry to be able to find what's genius about it. And if you know any musicians, they should go take a look and maybe apply. It's metadata that we all sort of know now, but back in 2005, nobody knew what meta tagging or metadata was. And I remember your brother in that the little back house that we stayed in when we first moved back here, with some kind of ancient computer, and I don't even know if it was Excel spreadsheet, just trying to figure out all the fields of like, what tempo are you looking for? What key, which language, male vocal, female vocal, instrumental.
But yeah, I had done that. We started with a front end for FileMaker Pro.
That was
a version of that. That was the first thing that I did. And then we moved into doing a bigger version, you know, it's the second round. So we got a lot of things better. But yeah, it was, it ended up being basically the data that we've got there is that and much more, you know.
Yeah, Lisa Tanner is saying from EDM, Emerging Artists and Talent in Music. My friend Lisa from Las Vegas is saying I introduced her to you for music. So, and yeah, it goes around, it comes back. But isn't it satisfying to know that you have you've created a portal, a gateway, a connection for artists all around the world? I mean, how many songs do you have? How many tracks do you have in AWS now?
Yeah, we have over 300,000 songs from artists, labels, and libraries from 79 countries. Yeah. And we have 1,542 genres. So if you need Portuguese fado, I got it.
Wow.
You need German drinking songs, we got a category. Chinese funeral music, you know, it continues. We add thousands of songs every month now.
Yeah.
Without even advertising. It's just, and again, it's super pro artist. All of the people that work there, like we're a music company that uses tech, not a tech company using music. Right. We also have 80,000 songs doing sonic branding over in Europe. So we supply the music to Italian grocery stores and Swedish eyeglass huts, all the Walmarts in Chile, you know, stuff like that. You know, so we're actually now going to be launching. We get retail. So we're going to doing branded radio inside of retail establishments.
Oh,
which we're excited. We're doing our own version in the US so that we have a little more control. Like, and really our clients are the artist and the music, our fellow music supervisors. Because I'm still supervising. I've got like 5 movies and 2 series I'm working on. But they're also, I really work in the smaller kind of interesting little things. But it's really, it's exciting because there's so much great talent. And if you can't afford Beyonce, I can get you somebody that Chill, who was one of the producers on Beyonce's Lemonade. He's got Shamiri, who's great. You know, if you want to kind of fill that void, she doesn't sound exactly like Beyonce, but she's in that world. So we're able to make the movies great and to really help the independent artist.
Well, I think also what a lot of people, you know, music fans and consumers don't know is all of the moving parts that go with a track. So you have the songwriter and the composer, that's, you know, creation, right? But then you also have the master track, the actual sound, the noise of the recording, which is how I explain it to people. And this is why so many bands have gone back in the studio and done what they call a re-record, so that they can then license, you know, the publishing part, the singer, the songwriter, all of that stuff, and own the actual noise that you're hearing. Because oftentimes the label,
I don't know if our people would call them noise like you are, but
yeah,
but I know what you mean. But it's the intellectual property of the songwriting and publishing, and it's the recording. It's 2 separate sets of rights.
And
most of the independent artists own both of them.
Yeah, but then you'll have a complicated situation like Whitney Houston singing Dolly Parton's song for a movie soundtrack, and the soundtrack is the noise again is owned by a label, so the label can ask anything it wants to use that original recording.
Oh, believe me, I know. Yes, so we do clearance, and that, especially hip hop, when you've got, you know, you can have 6 writers and 8 publishing companies to clear one song.
Oh.
And that's before you get to the noise bit, as you call it.
Right. And sometimes
the noise is generally owned by one label or entity. It's usually not split up that.
Well, we had a client that Sammy, who's on from Atlanta, will know who I'm referring to, who shall remain nameless. And I got a call one day because we built the website and we were the sort of outreach. And I got a call one day from a large ad agency in Chicago. They were doing a commercial for a credit card, and they wanted this song, and they'd spoken to the record label, and the record label wanted $100,000. And they said, that's just for the sound part, the noise part, what you're hearing. You're then going to have to go to the writer and the publisher and all of that stuff. So they called me, I called the artist, he went into the studio, re-recorded it, and we were able to license it to them for $50,000, which he was very happy. It was a day's work. He sings this song out on the road every day anyway. So it wasn't hard to recreate. And so, you know, I think by being greedy, these big labels are just, you know, they've sort of, I don't know, they've done themselves a disservice because artists are going to figure out a way to own their own masters, right?
Yeah.
Most, like, all the bigger artists are going out and doing their own masters. You know, once you get out of the 5 years outside or whatever, it's called a re-record clause. But once you get to a certain period, you can go re-record those things, and it's smart to do that. But really, we represent certain guys like that I won't name, that are big famous people. But majority of our people are independent artists that own everything. It's clean and green. And the thing that I'm getting more and more involved in is using the pull of the independent artist. I did a movie called The Never List. It was like a little $500,000 movie, and we had 19 great independent artists in it. But their social media reach was a combined 4 million.
Right.
So when it went to the video on demand, we did countdown concerts with 12 of the bands. 2 weeks before it went to video on demand and 4 weeks after. And we had that little bitty movie next to Spider-Man on the West Coast on most downloaded and streamed.
Yeah.
So like, independents have a lot more power than people give them credit for. Like, our bands did more to market that film than the actors did.
Right. Well, this is what my battle cry has been for years, our battle cry, because as Barry well knows, I don't know if everybody knows who's watching, when I was growing up in Liverpool, we would get tons and tons of mail addressed to Beetle, England, and it would arrive at our house. And sacks of it, and Ange, being the consummate secretary, would sort it out, put it on the dining table, and we'd put it in boxes by country and sort it all, and then take it over to Liverpool to my auntie Frida Kelly, who was Brian Epstein's secretary, who essentially ran the Beatles fan club. But we would do the opening and the stapling of the envelope with the address and sorting and answering some of it and what have you. And so from a very early age, earning pocket money, helping with Beatles fan mail when I'm 7, 8 years old. And, you know, John Lennon used to come and stay occasionally, and he'd come in the dining room and look under the table and go, whoa, let me look at all the customers. Never called them fans. He's like, oh, look at the customers. Where are they? This one's from Chile. This one's from Israel. This one's Japan, Scotland. And so a light bulb went off in me as a child very early on that the power of the artist to communicate directly with the fan, except we didn't have social media, we didn't have the internet, is paramount. And so to your point, yes, a little independent film can be something if the artists pull together and have 4 million or 8 million eyeballs out there, they can move a needle. Absolutely.
And they did. Also on the stuff you got there, you've got wegetmusic.com, and that's actually sort of a beta site for a music discovery platform.
Oh, okay.
But for the artists and stuff out there, if they go to wegetartists.com, that's where we're representing the artist, and that'll kind of explain more what we're doing there.
Okay. Well, I can edit that.
Good. I just sent him a link in there too. Yeah. And it's so much fun. There's so much great music, and we've been building these branded radio stations now for the retail thing. And I got to tell you, there is so much incredible music. You know, it's like the greatest music never heard. Like, there's so much talent out there, and it's a lot of, if you're a music fan, it's so much fun to sit there and be able to listen to all the quality work that's out there. You know, there's 90 million songs on Spotify, 100 on iTunes, and they're not really designed for discovery. If you know what you want, it's like the greatest store in the world, man. If you know, every one of these guys will give you Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Drake, and Ed Sheeran. It's finding the next one of those guys, the next.
Well, when people ask me about your, we get artists and the discovery platform, your independent streaming platform, I always liken Spotify. I mean, first of all, I don't rent my music. I still buy it. I just don't think it's fair because every artist gets 0.0003 cents per stream. You can't make a living. And that is going to kill good music. In the end, you're going to wind up 40 years from now with nothing but crap made from AI and machinery. I always liken when people say, well, what is Barry's platform? And I'm like, well, if you want just straight up box branded music, Spotify is Walmart. If you want to go and discover something, Barry's platform we get is like antiquing. You find that one little nugget in the third room on the back of the thing.
Well, it's like Etsy. It's like handcrafted, all cool stuff,
Right. But to me, it's the joy of the find is just as good as the music.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you feel like, and the fans, I think the fans who discover it that way, they're so much more loyal and vocal and viral because they're not just being fed music industry pablum and stuff in a box, right? To take nothing away from artists like Ed Sheeran or Taylor Swift, I think they're amazing.
Yeah.
But there's a million of them out there, but you need to take the time to go find them. And there's nowhere to do that except for you.
Well, and I don't hate on Apple Music and Spotify. I've got accounts with both of them. I'm like you. I'm more of a collector, so I like to own and download, and I'll buy vinyl. It's all those kind of things. But when we launch the new platform, it will be. I'm not trying to compete with those guys. If you know what you want, go there. If you don't know what you want, or if our platform will be for people that make and love music. It's got to be a level of passion. Like before I get on a plane, I spend more time packing my music than I do my clothes.
I've noticed
that kind of wacko that we're going out of the box for.
Hence forgetting your overcoat in the winter.
Yes. But I had a great, for a fact, I had a great playlist and all my music back. No,
absolutely.
I didn't forget that.
Tell us about the birth of Springboard, because you're like us, you have a lot of brands, but they're all pointing towards the same mentorship and the same fairness platform, I would call it. Tell us how did you come up with Springboard? When was it, and where was the first one?
So it was 2012 in Houston, and I had been around when South by Southwest started, and it was so incredible at the beginning. And then as it got bigger and bigger and bigger, the clients shifted from independent artists in the industry to Budweiser in the city of Austin, And so I kept saying, man, I could do a better one than that. They're missing it. They've jumped the shark. And somebody kind of called my bluff. They gave me a location for $600 and said, you can do it. I'm going like, so I think we started in like 3 or 4 weeks setup, and I had 45 bands, 2 stages, had the Houston Community College Film School come up and shoot video, 3-camera video on it, recorded it all. And we started it there. And here we are. I guess it's now our 18th year our 14th year. And this is our 18th Springboard. This Thursday, we're going to be in San Diego, going Springboard West in Ocean Beach, which is beautiful.
Speaking of Etsy and antiquing, it's the perfect town.
Oh my gosh. It's such a fun place. And so we're going to be at the holding company, and we're doing like a 2-day conference. We had 500 bands sign up, and we picked 21.
Wow.
So we're very boutique-y kind of thing. And then we bring in people like yourself and Vicki Hamilton, who discovered Guns N' Roses, Poison, Motley Crue. She had A&R at Capitol and Geffen. Dale Penner, who discovered Nickelback, signed them. It's all a bunch of really cool people. It's done under a nonprofit, Sustainable Artists, and none of us are getting paid. In fact, we're paying.
Oh, now he tells you.
Now you tell me.
Oh, did I not mention that?
No.
It's all right.
You're doing it for free.
It's all right, though. You know what? Because I'll take a trash bag full of rubles. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be worth the same as that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we like this one's going to be really exciting because in 2024 we are stupidly going to try to do one of these every 3 months.
Okay.
So we're doing San Diego, then we're going to do Houston. First week of March, right before South by Southwest, 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then we're going to go do someplace on the East Coast, I think, in the summer. And then in October, we'll be back in Memphis.
Great.
You know, and so we just, by doing that, we also are moving it around the country so bands can come in, even though in San Diego, we got bands coming in from New York and Columbia, you know, but a lot of the, I'd say 50% of the bands are Southwest, you know, they're San Diego, LA, you know, New Mexico, you know,
they
that
got to schlep all this stuff. They probably want to drive in rather than fly in. So
yeah, it makes it affordable for them because we don't charge the bands anything. Like I'm a bad businessman. I've done 18 springboards and lost money on 18 springboards. Well, 7. we're positive we're going to lose money on this one too, but less we're thinking, you know.
Unless this reaches everybody who lives in Ocean Beach, who comes down to the holding company this weekend and spends $20 to hear. So 20
for 2 days, $20. Are you kidding? That's just to cover the sound, like even the venues donating it. You know, we're paying for the sound and lights. You know.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, so it's really affordable because the bands, it's a big deal to have to pack up your van and drive 8 hours, and you know.
That's right. Paul Antonelli, who is an Emmy-winning music supervisor, and
I love that picture of him with it too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one of my ex-husbands says, "Hello, you fabulous kids." I can just see him.
And he's done a springboard, so I try to get him in. You know, he did a virtual one.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Diana's asking, Barry, what makes, in your opinion, obviously, what makes a stellar musician? What attributes do they have to have? Obviously,
you're
apart
talking
from
about studio stuff, like I mean,
no, studio, a stellar musician, just a great.
Yeah, that's what I said. But like a stellar musician, it's not just what they play; it's what they hear. It's the ideas they come up with. Like I was lucky enough; I did the music for California Dreams for 5 years, and my band was Lee Sklar on bass, Mike Landau on guitars, Gary Malaber on drums, who played on all the Steve Miller Band, Born in the USA for Springsteen. So these guys are like legends, and every time that they would play, they put something magical. Like I've used them in other things, but they always brought something amazing to the record. You know, that's
really.
Well, in our streaming site, that's one of the things that we're doing. That's our little secret. We are paying a royalty to all the musicians, producers, engineers on the recordings. 85% of all the money made from music now is streaming. So we have to all get a piece of that.
Yep.
So that's part of one of the things we think is wrong. And, you know, stellar musician to me is somebody who brings the magic, who puts something in that you wouldn't think of. Like I'll write a chord chart, but I never tell them what to play.
Right.
Somebody's been playing guitar since they were 7. You're going to write their part out?
No.
Who are you?
Hey, Eddie Van Halen, play these notes exactly. No.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you have to wake them up first. You know?
That's true.
But no, I know what you mean. And then the happenstance of getting all of those people in a band in one place, that's what I think there are brilliant solo musicians like Nick Black. But when you get, the Beatles or Charlie Watts, the most underrated drummer next to Ringo, right? The Rolling Stones. I think trying to define that, it's magic. It's the universe at work. You can't put.
And in our system, when you're listening to a song, if you click on the song title, the album art blows up, and if you mouse over all the production credits, who played guitar, who played bass, like we're a music discovery site. And one of the things back in the day, I just tried to bring back reading the album cover.
Yeah,
like I used to read like Lee Sklar's name. Oh my God, if I could only meet that guy,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And,
funny story, when I was growing up, 12, 13 years old, buying Partridge Family albums, because I was in love with David Cassidy, as the world knows. I would see these Carol Kay on bass and Tommy Tedesco on guitar. And then fast forward,
I had her bass book.
20 something years. And I'm in Hollywood. I'm in my early 20s, working in the film industry, driving trucks, shooting commercials and music videos, moving from crew to crew, because I did everything from hair and makeup to catering to assistant gripping to, I just have a go at anything. And in high heels and a mink coat.
And that Earth Girls are easy too.
Earth Girls are easy. We worked on that, yeah. And I found myself reading a crew sheet one day, and I'm like, Denny Tedesco? That can't be any relation to Tommy Tedesco. He's in the Partridge Family. He will have met David Cassidy. Oh my God. So of course I make a beeline for this kid on the set. We became fast friends. We all palled around together in a big crowd. And so Denny was Tommy Tedesco, Partridge Family's son. And he is now, of course, the director of The Immediate Family, the movie about Leland Sklar and Russ Kunkel.
That's such a great, I mean,
all those guys. And also the Wrecking Crew, which was the other Hollywood, just legendary people, Glenn Campbell and Carol Kagan and what have you. So yeah, I think what's one of the things that's missing apart from fair pay in the music industry is the album, the liner notes. I used to love the smell of that. Sometimes there'd be a poster and the smell of the ink, you know.
Well, what's crazy about it is because it's that digital now, you can click on that person and every song that they played bass on or guitar on,
that's fantastic,
shows up and you can listen to it. It's like our platform will be like IMDb if you could watch every movie.
Wow.
And that's already built and working. And it is. I mean, every one of us that's tested it, you lose like 2 hours of your life. I'll go, I didn't know he played drums with him. Like for those of us in the industry, it's like old home week. You work with her too? It's like, it's really going to be fun.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lovely book that a friend of ours in Liverpool wrote, David Bedford, about the Beatles. And it's sort of like a family tree. It's like the beginning, opening credits of the immediate family film. And it's all who played on what with which band that were connected to the Beatles from Colin Hanton or whatever. And you don't realize what a family this industry can be,
Yes, I saw one of your things. So Sammy, we are actually having the album art credits. Who is the photographer who did the album art? So we've added that in there in addition to that, because we want the ability for people to know. And again, because the album art will now blow up really big, album art's now back to being cool instead of being a thumbnail. Because now when I'm telling people, it better look good tiny or don't do it.
Yeah.
And now that would be a chance to bring back the album art from the 70s because you could do really intricate, cool stuff.
Right. We actually, a mutual friend of ours and client of ours, Edgar Winter, this is to the point where I'm glad they're doing vinyl again because you can actually do album art. For his Grammy-winning Brother Johnny Blues album from last year, they did lenticular. Those old "I like Ike" buttons that I heart I like whatever. Lenticular is that sort of the thing that moves when it's printed on two sides. Your wife would do a much better job.
Oh no, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's so cool.
And so that was a wonderful thing because Edgar put out a vinyl and was able to do. When you move the album cover, it changes from Johnny Winter to Edgar Winter and back again. And there's an amazing use of that, slightly off the track, but lenticular is always left to right. It's always vertical. And in, I think it was Sweden or Norway, recently, an ad agency won a prize for the use of lenticular, but horizontal. So that if you were a child, you could see one thing because you were one height. Or if you were an adult, you would see another thing because you were another height. And it was about a phone number to text for child abuse. If you were a child, you could see this number to text if you were being abused. If you were the adult at the bus stop or next to the poster, you wouldn't even see it. You'd just see an ad for something else. Quite clever. Yeah.
I put in the text too. There's a really great vinyl replication company in Austin. It's called Gold Rush Vinyl, female owned. And they can turn things around in 10 weeks.
Wow.
And it's really, really cool. Because vinyl, I got to tell you, it's still great. And it's a really great merch item. You can sell it for $40 to $50.
Wow.
It's, I really tell people that's still something worth doing where, I've got a lot of artists that as part of your merch table, it's a really good thing to do,
Oh, absolutely. And, again, even if you only have a limited number of fans, if you have collectibles and they're $50 or $100 or even more, well, then fine. That's enough. And you say there's only going to be 1,000 of these. Or like with Angie's next book, There Are Faces I Remember. It's 12 by 12, like an album. It's in a box. It slides in a box. And we're only printing 1,001. And when they're gone, they're gone. That's it.
Do you really remember all the faces, Angie, or are you just making that up?
Oh, no.
No.
I'm teasing.
She remembers.
You forget some of the stories about me. I'm just like, when is her mind going to go? Come on, man.
Please, no. God, no.
No, those are under wraps with the FBI. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. Yeah, great. So me and the thong, you're never getting rid of that. Huh?
No.
No. And don't even bring up the goat and the tarpaulin and the cream cheese.
Oh, no.
No, not going there. But you can see how well.
Boy. Yeah.
Are you getting uncomfortable now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I'll be good.
Yeah.
So tell us about what's next. Obviously, this weekend is Springboard West.
Yep.
Go to springboardwest.com. And Paul,
like I said, there's still some. Yeah, somebody blackmail because you can't say anything, Paul. Yeah, there's still passes if you want to go, and then on the 13th, which is a Saturday at the holding company, the festival's free, and we have 21 bands on 2 stages in 1 location, and we just rotate every 20 minutes. It's like an industry showcase thing, or like a wine tasting for bands.
Yes,
you see all these. It's designed for the industry, so they got upstairs, downstairs, and you just go up, watch a band down. If you don't like that kind of band, go to the bathroom, get a drink. There's a new band on. You know, we're doing very industry and artist centric event. It's quite a bit different.
Good, excellent, and that they can find that at springboardwest.com, correct?
Yep.
Excellent, and then we get artists. Is the main one, but if you're an industry person, musicsupervisor.com is still
right. If you're a music supervisor, that's where we service them, because we know what it's like to be one, even though we really stay in the small stuff, but we service a lot of really big people.
You might want to rephrase that.
Anyway. People. Wait a minute.
We're back to the blackmail.
I'm going to sit for a week. No.
Well, as our friend Paul Moody knows, because he watches every week, and as Angie's new book is all in limerick format, for our very special guests, we have a silly little limerick to close our show. Okay. So, are we ready?
Yes, I think so, darling.
A 1, 2, 3. So, Barry, we're happy to say you were able to visit today. Your Springboard event will be time heaven spent and show many musos the way.
Ta-da!
Woo! Thank you so much. What an honor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Cool. Excellent.
I love limerick time.
Yeah.
I know some of her other ones from back in the day. So
yeah,
those are even funnier.
Yes.
The off-camera ones, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, they'll be in the book though, right?
No.
No. Well, one of them is.
Okay.
One of them is.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll bring a copy with me to Springboard, and we'll have a little limerick reading.
That sounds like fun.
And I went to Trader Joe's to get your birthday present yesterday. It's in 2 cardboard boxes with dividers in between.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Will you help me use my birthday present?
Yeah, indeed. I'll even bring.
Is it really my present when we think about it?
Is it though? Is it really though? Funny.
The good news is the venue is 50 yards from the event, so we can stagger our way back no matter what.
That's absolutely right. Well, we will see you all of a sudden next week, the 16th, which would be my grandmother's 1888 umpteenth birthday and big day in Beatle history, and we will have the lovely Morgan St. Jean. Speaking of independent artists, check her out, Barry. I'll turn you on to her. She's amazing. Right. So I will thank you, Paul. Thank you, Diana, Joanne, Albert, Dave. Oh my gosh, so many folks on Paul.
Paul Antonelli just won't go away, will he?
Sammy, well,
Paul,
I want him to do a Springboard live.
Yeah.
I want to get him to Houston or someplace.
Yeah. Well, he is the thing that wouldn't leave.
So. That's right.
I'm looking forward to it.
He says never leave. All right, kids. Well, thanks for doing this, and we will see you all of a sudden. And everybody stay happy and healthy, and don't catch her 100-day cough, please.
No. Should I sign off with a cough?
Sign off with a and started.
Brought to you by Tussin.
No, brought to you by Barry Coffing.
Coughing. Oh, Barry Coffing. Yes.
I've been coughing all my life.
Coughing.
That's right.
For coughing. Yeah.
Indeed,
okay.
For coffee's sake. All right, kids.
All right.
We will speak to you soon. Lots of love. Bye.
Bye.
Everybody.